Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Breitling Galactic Unitime SleekT. You can see the stainless steel and tungsten manufacture movement Breitling world timer on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full listing for this tungsten bezel Breitling. Additional accessories included in the sale of this watch, more high-resolution images, and of course, complete pricing details for this Breitling Unitime. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, you can see that this is a big watch, no doubt. The image might be of the 1950s reference 1/260 Unitime world timer, but the size is definitely of the 21st century, and that entails a measurement across the broad of the case, so from 9 to 3, not inclusive of the crown, of a robust 44 millimeters. In terms of thickness, it's 15.5 millimeters with a stepped case flank and a slightly conical tungsten bezel. You can fit it underneath a sport jacket or blazer sleeve, just not anything particularly tight. Now, it's also important to note that the watch is very broad across the wrist. 56 millimeters from lug to lug means that 15 centimeters is probably the lower limit for wrist size for wearing this watch securely, but you will see that at 16 centimeters, with a wrist that's more flat than round across the top, I'm wearing it fairly securely. So if you are 14.5 centimeters and you're into this watch, it's worth a try. Now, it's also important to note that the watch is hefty. That's a product of two factors. First, it's a big watch, period. 56 millimeters lug to lug is up there in the oversized range. Moreover, the tungsten bezel is a material that you're seeing more and more often, albeit still in a trickle within the watch industry. Breitling has adopted it in its SleekT bezel family. Omega has launched it on the Globemaster line, and of course Oris has been using it for a couple of years in dive bezels. We've also seen a cameo of the gray metal from Hublot, but its primary quality is that it's simply incredibly hard. If you've heard of the airborne weapons system known as rods from God, the idea that you could simply drop an ultra-dense metal rod out of a satellite, and by the time it hit the ground, it would be a weapon of mass destruction. Well, the idea was always built around tungsten rods. That's how tough this stuff is. You also note that the watch comes with an extremely substantial calfskin strap. Calfskin robustly bolstered down the center with a contrasting white stitch. You can see the sheer cut on the flanks, very thick, and it's paired with a nice Breitling signed polished steel pin buckle for easy on-the-fly adjustability. Now, what you'll also note about the watch is that it's all of high polish. Very, very handsome. It doesn't seem ostentatious. The case is sensuous. You'll see there's hardly a straight line to be seen aside from the character line of the bezel lip. The case simultaneously curves from top to bottom and from side to side. It's sensuous and handsome, and this is perhaps, alongside the projection style of the dial itself, it's the sensuous qualities of the case that represent the most direct reference to history on this watch. Now, about the dial, you can see the gentle contrast between the tungsten and the steel here, by the way, one of the aesthetic highlights of the watch. But the dial features true world time functionality. The caliber B35 inside was the first non-chronograph application of Breitling's B01 in-house mechanical movement family. And what you see is a chapter ring featuring 24 cities, one as a reference city for each of the world's 24 principal time zones, and then inboard of that there's a counterclockwise rotating 24-hour scale with AM/PM distinction. And what this allows you to do is, once you set your local time at center and your local city at the index at 6 o'clock, you can then read the hour adjacent to any city you seek to reference using center minutes to reference the minutes portion of the time telling. So hours on the ring, minutes at center. You'll also note that the watch features a fully loomed dial and 100-meter water resistance. So while it's a traveler's watch, it's also an active lifestyle traveler's watch, ready to get a little bit wet. And of course, with the tungsten bezel, extremely hardy. Now, there are a couple of different setting positions for the crown. The outermost moves the time at center in coordinated motion with the world time chapter ring. Now, there is an intermediate crown setting position where you move everything. Now you move the hour independently of the minutes, and you move the reference city at 6 o'clock as well as the world time reference ring. This is useful for when you're jumping time zones. And as you note, it keeps the balance beating. The watch continues to tell time. The minute hand doesn't move. So it's an on-the-fly adjustment for those who are either frequent travelers or who just simply prefer to let the watch do the math for them. It's a very convenient method of jumping forward or backwards relative to your current time zone. Now, the watch does feature hacking seconds when you pull the crown out to extremity, so it has that function for precise synchronization, perhaps to a known accurate travel time clock or atomic clock. Moreover, the watch features a 70-hour power reserve, so nearly 3 days, with robust automatic winding. Of course, this is part of Breitling's family of in-house calibers, so you get that pedigree as well. Now, the watch is handsome, historically inspired, but contemporary in its mechanical specification. It's the best possible blend of vintage and contemporary, with a unique combination of metals and an aesthetic that is all Breitling, historically very close hewn to the 1-2-60 reference. You can see and you can purchase this historically inspired Galactic Unitime on our website.